She took a high-risk political gamble and lost, but Theresa May is resisting calls to quit, some even from her own party. After visiting the Queen Friday, part of electoral procedure, she announced she would try to form a minority government supported by the Democratic Unionist Party, or DUP, from Northern Ireland.
Our two parties have enjoyed a strong relationship over many years, and this gives me the confidence to believe that we will be able to work together in the interests of the whole United Kingdom.
May insisted the Brexit talks would begin as planned next week, but this is far from business as usual. After losing 13 seats and her parliamentary majority, she will have to rely on the support of the DUP vote by vote. That is simply unsustainable, says political analyst Ian Dunt, author of the book Brexit, What the Hell Happens Now?
Minority governments in Britain anyway have very, very bad track records. They always get torn apart. The system doesn't like it. When you're doing that going into Brexit negotiations, some of the most arduous, brutal international negotiations this country has ever faced, where you're having to make deeply emotional concessions for the sort of tribal politics that you're facing back home, you don't have a chance going up against it without a really quite a strong majority.
So is Britain's EU exit now in doubt? No, says Dunt, but May's vision of a so-called hard Brexit has been rejected.
She said, give me a mandate. And the answer was no. And that means that we have to rethink everything. We have to rethink the entirety of the way that we're doing Brexit.
The Conservatives' losses were largely gains for the Labour opposition, which defied polls and predictions to gain 29 seats.
We put forward our policies, strong and hopeful policies, and they've gained an amazing response and traction.
Among those was scrapping university tuition fees, which energised the youth vote. This group of teaching students all voted Labour.
One of the main things being education, and the only person who chose to get back to me and offer me something that was worthwhile was the MP for Labour.
I think most of us here were against Brexit last year, and I don't feel like the current Prime Minister, indeed the Tory party, has any idea about what to do with Brexit.
But elation in the Corbyn camp is tempered by electoral reality.
In a sort of Bernie Sanders-like way, he just created this momentum, this sort of idealistic momentum around young people, done something extraordinary. But he still doesn't have that many seats.
A year after the Brexit vote, Britain appears as divided as ever between young and old, left and right, pro and anti-Europe. Theresa May's campaign catchphrase of a strong and stable government has backfired. It now looks like Britain is set for months of political chaos. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.